I don't think the headline numbers look all that bad, to be honest. Consensus estimates kind of are a pretty wide range at this point. You just had people, trying to kind of react to how quickly the healthcare situation is evolving. But, if I had to nitpick a little bit, it looks like the rides business is maybe a little bit light on gross bookings. That might raise some questions about kind of what Uber's market share position in some of its major markets was kind of entering the pandemic. In the press release, Dara kind of hinted that maybe they were seeing some kind of green shoots or in the markets that are starting to open up. We'll see exactly what that means. Lyft also last night talked a little bit about pressure on their business moderating, but in their case, was the difference between negative, down 75% for the month of April versus down 70% kind of exiting the month. So not too much to get excited about, but we'll see what Uber has to say kind of on these markets that are starting to open up a little bit.
Ygal, on the ride sharing itself, compare and contrast Uber and Lyft over the last 24 hours for us.
Well, I think we have a little bit more to learn from Uber on the call. The other thing about Uber is it's international, so it saw the impact from COVID a little bit earlier. Given that, the fact that bookings are only down 4 or 5%, I think that's a positive. The overall top line numbers weren't that bad. What we want to learn on the call, which is what we learned from Lyft yesterday, is what the demand is like in April. Lyft saw demand down in April about 70% in the U.S. I would expect something similar to Uber. So what we want to see is what the demand looks like domestically in April, how they're trending coming out of there. I think when you look at Uber's results and Lyft's results yesterday, take them together, both combined, I think things are more encouraging than people were expecting just a few weeks ago.
Mike Santoli, Uber Eats gross bookings surging 52%. People ordering food, restaurant delivery at home. Does the stock move on the Eats business? Is it big enough, or is it just those ride-sharing numbers, which are obviously way down as a result of the crisis?
Yeah, I don't think in the current context it's necessarily big enough to really move the stock. What's interesting, though, is if you look back, Wall Street sentiment was pretty negative toward the Eats business since the IPO. It was seen as a bit of a drag on the overall performance, and it was a complicating factor. I do think longer term, it's an interesting kind of case study Uber is, because you have a lot of things that can maybe cause adjustments to the long-term investment case, the business model, whether it be, like I said, the rider-driver economics. You're going to have all these unemployed people out there. Does it make it easier to pull in drivers and to essentially maybe not subsidize rides quite as much? Does it make it easier to find riders if people are unwilling to do public transportation, or are people going to buy cars who don't have them right now to stay isolated? So I think a lot of stuff is in the mix right here. Also, though, the economics of the Eats business, because it's perceived as not really being in the sweet part of that food delivery food chain, simply the delivery, the distribution part of it.
Tom, where do you stand on that long-term question as to whether this pandemic will change people's tastes between wanting to get in a car, sharing with someone, own a car, or public transport?
Yeah, look, I think that's a question investors are really struggling with, and I don't want to hedge, but I think the jury is still out. Obviously Uber and Lyft, kind of the pitch from day one, and certainly during the IPO roadshow, was all about replacing personal car ownership. Last night on the Lyft call, you had their management team making the claim that in a period of economic uncertainty, consumers are going to be unlikely or discouraged from making these kind of high fixed cost investments like buying a car, and also simultaneously they're going to be sort of scared away from public transportation due to kind of sanity issues. Then again, I saw a survey done by IBM Institute today, which suggested that a lot of people were interested in buying a car just for those reasons. So it's a very big question. Unfortunately, it's not a question that we're probably going to get an answer to tonight on the Uber call, but it's something that folks are going to be wrestling with, I think, for the next several months.
Tom White, Ygal Arounian, thank you both for joining us.